new WWE releases. So I had been told that NXT UK was getting some releases, and there was going to be possibly not higher end releases, but maybe here and there, sporadic. Corporate restructuring has been going on, and that's what I kind of imagine these releases on the WWE side, the main side would be from. But obviously it wasn't, and there are some tremendous cuts. The biggest being Braun Strowman, physically. I'm just going in size order here, guys.
Okay.
Braun Strowman released. Alister Black, Lana, Ruby Riott, Buddy Murphy, and Santana Garrett. And Santana Garrett's bizarre to me because she was just called up to the... I mean, it's all bizarre.
Yeah.
Some of them, like Lana, I'm not surprised.
It's also, we'll preface this by saying, like, it's always unfortunate when people have to lose their jobs. But listen, for the most part, I think everybody on this list is going to land on their feet.
Again, this is part of the discussion too, right? And then let's go into the who may go where, right? Lana, for example, Lana's released. I think Lana's release is welcoming.
No brainer.
And not because I don't like her. Like I'm just telling you, I think her and Rusev together were a tremendous act.
100%.
Tremendous act. And it is something that you can naturally recreate with Miro and her in AEW. Because the reality is, it's their personas that's going to get over.
Absolutely.
And I think she's so easy, and not saying anything about her personally, but the character she's always been able to play, she's easily dislikable.
Easily loved and easily dislikable.
Yeah.
And also, I really think this is my 2 cents, if she does go to AEW, she gets bonked on the head immediately, and the Russian accent comes back.
Can you imagine?
Wouldn't you pop?
Well, what if it's not Russian?
What
What if she becomes French?
Or German?
That could be her gimmick every week. She gets bonked on the head and she has a different accent.
I do like that.
I just want, can she do like a good, any kind of Eastern European accent? Can she go from Polish to Ukrainian,
Probably.
To like Macedonian?
Probably.
I just want her to become like touring the Eastern European bloc.
I think they fit perfectly together. And you know what? Like, as much as I like Miro, I do think he needs his wife as his valet.
I think so too.
They're such a good package, right?
Yeah, tremendous package. Ruby Riott is, I could see why they released her. They just couldn't figure her out. I don't think it was deserved. I think Ruby Riott going to any company would be a tremendous asset for their women's division, top to bottom. She makes a lot of sense for AEW. She also makes a lot of sense for Impact. I don't know where the answer is. Santana Garrett, we discussed, she was getting pulled to the main roster, but Buddy Murphy is very interesting.
He's going to show up in the Impact Zone as Murph Budman.
Murph Budman, attorney at law. His style is like modern day, like Kenny Omega-ish. That a lot of knee strikes, a lot of chops, a lot of elbows. I think he'll be great anywhere else.
It's the further kind of hybrid style. This is me playing pure fanboy here, but I had a thought yesterday. I had 2 thoughts yesterday, just 2 the whole day. Thought number 1 was it would be so delicious if Buddy Murphy went to AEW, right? But Kenny used him as a proxy.
For what? And what?
For his matches.
Tell me. Explain.
Like, for example, if it's like, instead of using Nakazawa, saying like, oh, to get to me, you have to wrestle Nakazawa, he'll say, you know what? To get through me, you have to wrestle this guy.
And he comes out.
Who's pretty much like, he looks like
version,
me.
Yeah.
He wrestles like me. Let's do it. And like, I feel like that would be such an FU troll to the fans. And then you eventually have that split and that feud between Buddy Murphy and Kenny Omega.
I think that would be cool.
I'm playing like fanboy.
But does he fall into a Pac category? Like, I think WWE saw him in the same way. Just another guy. He's a very good worker, but he's just lacking that WWE charisma. That
quote unquote connection with the fans.
Whatever it is, I'm very curious for him. I'm very, very curious for him. I think Alister Black, Tommy End, is going to get over anywhere he freaking goes.
Absolutely, dude.
This guy was a stud on the independents. For me, I would really... I think AEW would be the answer for him, really. But again, a lot of this, don't be surprised if you see some of these names return back immediately.
Yeah, that happened a ton over the last couple of years. They brought back Jinder Mahal and a few other guys. Drew McIntyre, I think, like, he did the tour of the Indies and got brought back in a big way. Who's to say it's not going to happen? But I do think, like, you have those tree branches of like where these guys might go, and it's all like fun and stuff. Like Alister Black could show up in AEW. Who's to say this guy does not join Bullet Club? Who's to say this guy doesn't show up in the G1?
His stream where he mentioned numerous things. He was airing out a lot of his grievances. It also spoke very highly of the company. He brought up some interesting things. Like one of it was, hold on, let me pull it up here. One of it was that he kind of like took a shot at like dirt sheets. It was like, oh, everybody's reporting I was going to go back down to NXT. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, so when I was talking about going down to NXT, that's the other thing, right? Why? Obviously, Braun Strowman wouldn't work there. But Ruby Riott, Buddy Murphy, Alister Black, why couldn't they go down to NXT?
I feel like they have that internally. Again, this is pure speculation on my part. I feel like internally the company has this mindset with NXT where if you put Buddy Murphy, Alister Black, and Ruby Riott back on that roster, they will outshine every competitor that they're trying to build.
But they're also trying to build a program with ratings, right?
They're trying
to
build
a big problem for them.
Right. But if you watched like NXT over the last few weeks, it's really been like a lot of their own like performance center people and a couple of their signings, right? Like they really want Santos Escobar to shine. They really want to push MSK and Bronson Reed. They want to have like their homegrown guys. And you see kind of like, not that Gargano's being pushed to the side, but I feel like internally they may be like, well, he had his time to shine already.
Yeah.
Ciampa had his time to shine already. Adam Cole, like the whole Adam Cole thing I found interesting, because like people were saying like, why is he not on the main roster? I think they're keeping him there as like an NXT lifer. People like seeing him.
Yeah, I think some of those guys, absolutely, they're going to be like that. I do find it fascinating that they don't just move these people around. They have a secondary brand. Here's the option. You got a guy like Alister Black. Do you go to him and insult him and be like, listen, we're going to bring you... Alister Black's a different story, but like a Ruby Riott, listen, we're paying... I'm throwing a number. I have no idea. We're paying you $300,000 a year. Listen, I don't think it's making sense on the main roster right now, but if we moved you down to NXT for $250 or, $200... You would have an easier schedule, and you could rebuild your talent, your character, and your persona over there. I don't know if they offer it, and people are like, that's so effing insulting. You're gonna cut me and move me down there. I think guys like 100% Aleister Black could have come up, and Aleister Black came up too early. Ricochet's a great example. I'm gonna put out a rumor here, which generally when I'm told stuff, it's coming from a higher level with the company. I was told specifically that there's going to be more releases to come. Not today, maybe not today. I don't know. I don't have a day.
Right.
But I was specifically told that I'm trying to word this properly. This is going to be a regular thing. You're going to see these releases happen. They're reshuffling the deck with talent. They're realizing that the company got very bloated with talent over the last, 2-3 years. Where WWE doesn't release anybody. They hang on to people. They threw ridiculous money to guys like Gallows and Anderson. They threw ridiculous amount of money to them to stay. And
only to let them go.
And they wouldn't let him go, yeah. And then they let him go, after WrestleMania. So it's
bizarre.
The whole thing is bizarre. The whole thing. Hey, guys, thanks for checking out Matman Clips. If you want to listen to a full episode of the show, click on one of the links below and be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube and, of course, everywhere podcasts are available.